themarshallman.com.
Now we're on to set 6, which is more about white crane principles. By the way, set 5, these are very much what we call Lohan principles. They come from Lohan Chuan, one of the 5 ancestors. In set 6 is more on the white crane. Now in white crane pays a lot of emphasis to the joints, especially in the arms, but it's not just confined to the arms, okay? So we treat the arms like a wing, okay? So you want to have this smooth, graceful movement, but they are not merely because of aesthetics. Because if you move the arms in a particular way, it's allowing your joints to connect up. And in Tai Chi terms, they prefer to use the term opening the joints. But in my terminology, I prefer to call it connecting the joints, because once you connect the joints, then the energy can flow through. So it's like connecting, you're taking a plug, an electrical wire, connecting the plugs so the electricity can flow through. So these movements teaches you how to connect the joints. So the way you move your shoulder, the way you move your elbows and your wrists. So these are ways to connect the joints. So when we do this movement, let's say we go up, right? Down, right? You open and you go around. So this wiping the mirror effect, where you put the palm out as you do the circle, has a lot of significance, you see. And then join up, and then up again and down. So this movement, right, where the palm is facing makes a big difference, because if you turn it out this way, the connections are there, but if you turn it out any other way, it doesn't work, all right? Now, even this simple movement, after you've pressed down, you do this before you turn to the side, right? This basic movement already teaches you how to create the basic connections. So just to demonstrate, right? If Kieran has grabbed me by the wrist or the forearm, it doesn't matter, right? Okay, I'll show first. All I need to do is position my arm this way. I want a bend here, I want a bend here, and this is pointing down. And by the way, this is the same as the first move is set 1, but we do it in front. So if I do that, so you push onto me. So if I tense, I will go, right? Especially you're in a stance and you do that. Yeah, whoa, I will fly. Now, if I go into this, go on. Yeah, right? So what I did is just turn and everything gets connected up. And yeah, you feel that your energy gets directed backwards.
Instantly, yes.
Yeah. So all I did was that, you see. I can even do it slowly. See? There. Right? It goes back in.
Yes.
Yeah. So just by correctly connecting the joints, you're allowing the energy to flow.
And it seems like the more power that I exert, the more comes back
reflects.
to me.
Yeah, that's right. It reflects.
Yes.
And if my hand is already there, you can try and push. See? Nothing happens. Right? You can push this way, you can push it down, you can push it up.
No, it's immovable here.
Yeah, it's there. And I'm loose. See? I'm loose. I'm not tense. And this is where song versus stiffness counts. Because once I stiffen up, I close all the joints. Yeah, all this get closed and the energy cannot flow. But if I am song, see, I'm song, I can wiggle my fingers, I can wiggle my elbow, I can move my shoulder. It's all connected. And if I want to exert, I just press from the ground, I go, boom.
Oh, yes.
You can feel, yeah.
A lot of force coming out.
The release, right? Yeah, the Fa-Ching comes.
So, Sifu, you also have the yin-yang quality in this movement as well.
Yes.
So is this the case that all the skills that you're building from set 1, they're progressively being added to each of the movements?
That's right. That's why we start with the strings, because the strings is the foundation for everything, right? Then once you have the strings, you learn how to keep your center still. And then, hence the stillness emotion. Then once you can keep your center still, then you can learn how to move it, right? And so on. You see, it does build on top of each other. And the 6 skills that you learn in the first 6 forms are complementary. And they can be used in combination. So I can be using my strings, I can be turning on my center, I can be tensing or releasing the fascia. So imagine, let's say I have the strings. So when you push, you see, if you push onto me, see, I have the root, right? I have the center. And let's say, if I use this, and then I do the Fa-Ching, right? So here, there, so, boom, then it all comes into play. So it's building the skills up step by step.
Yes. And you mentioned that the wiping of the mirror has the same movement in
Oh
them.
yeah, this
Could we take a look at what that's used for as well?
So once I'm in this position, if you grab my arm, right? Now, the wiping of the mirror, I move my hand to the side. Of course, I can move it to the side. So if I move it to the side, I want to use this point here. So for example, I keep my elbow still. See? Right? Yeah. Right? And you notice it's not a big movement. I can do this. See? I move myself. But once I get this to face out there.
Yeah, it's taken me already.
I've taken you, right? Now, let's continue the movement, right? Let's say here, I've gone here. Now, I want it to go up. See?
I cannot stop this movement.
Now, you see, I'm still wiping the mirror. Now I sink, right? And this, if done fast, is a throw as well as a take down.
I can see that, yeah, because even when it's done very slowly, I cannot stop the movement.
Yeah, because you see, it's very strange, right? Because when I do this, all your force, everything is jammed up into your structure. Right? If I do it this way, see, you can resist.
I feel very strong when you've done this now,
right?
Changed it.
Yeah, but once I do this, there, it goes in, right?
Yes, incredible.
So these are the fine points in the Yan Shou Gong. Simple, but so profound. That's how deep the art is.
So when you're talking about precision, I mean, how precise exactly do you need to be? Are we talking centimeters, millimeters?
Okay, precision is like that. In the beginning, you need to be precise, okay? And precision could be centimeters, not millimeters, okay? That's too refined. So more like centimeters. So between here, let's say, and here, it's only about maybe 2-3 cm, but it can make a big difference, right? So in the beginning, you want to be able to maintain the precision of the form as much as possible, because the purpose of the precision is to train your internals. And once you, let's say, learn or felt what those connections are, and your body is adapted to it, then I can afford to be more lenient with my external movements, you see, because my internals are already connected. Just to give you an idea, right? So back to this position, you try and lift my elbow. So if I'm here, I'm properly aligned, you can try and lift. There, it's very heavy, right? But I'm here, I'm out. But if I learn how to connect internally, then, because at my level, I can just do it internally. You can try and lift. It's just as heavy, right? I can be here, it's just as heavy, right? Because I already learned how to do that, you see. I've got the knowledge and the body awareness, you know, and the E in this case, right? To control my body so I can control it from inside rather than from the outside. But in the beginning, when you're first practicing, you're learning to control the internals from the outside. Then once, that's why, the outside move the inside. And once you got the inside, then you can allow the inside to move the outside.
Oh, that's very interesting. So in the beginning, the shape and the precision is very important.
Yes.
And then once you've internalized things, you can almost break the rules in that sense.
That's right.
Yes.
And
so I guess it's important not to break the rules too early.
in the beginning,
In the beginning, yes.
And that's what lawyers do, right? They learn the law so they can help you bend the law, right? Yeah, and basically, just to show you, right? So once I've got an internal connection, you can press or push me as hard as I can. See, I connect, I ground. Then I can afford to move, you see. I just need to do this. I'm just stretching. Now this is inside moving the outside. You see. Similarly, you see, I can grab, right? Now I come back in, you see. So I hold, you press, I hold, right? I get the correct posture. Now I direct the E down.
Wow.
You can take your thumbs away. It's okay. Just stick. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. It's very, very heavy.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. There. So it's because I've learned to control everything and keep it connected. Yeah. Independent of the external movement. That's where the inside moves, the outside. Yeah.
So for the people that have never experienced Yan Shou Gong before, how would you recommend they get started? What would be the best way for them to be introduced to Yan Shou Gong?
Okay. Number one is learn the forms, right? And that's why we created the videos, you see, so that they can learn the forms and they don't have to come to a workshop just to learn the forms, because I consider it, I hate to say it, but it's a waste of time, you know. I'd rather teach you the intricacy and the deeper details of the form in a workshop than teach you the form, right? Because I feel that you can learn the form from the videos. And that's why I put in a lot of effort into the details of the videos so that you can learn the form correctly.
Yes.
So after you learn the form, then practice it. You have to practice the forms to the extent where you don't have to think about the movement, you know. If I have to think, okay, I've got to move my leg, I've got to roll my shoulder, and I've got to do this, then you have no time to focus on what is happening inside the body. Your awareness is out here. Whereas if you're very familiar with the form, you're doing the form and you turn your awareness inside. This is where and when, you know, you learn and feel what's happening on the inside. Okay? And that's an important step. Once you can feel what is inside, then you learn to control it. So it's very simple. You can't control what you can't feel. So that's why the familiarity of the form is important. First, learn the form, be very familiar with the form, and then when you practice the form, try to feel what is happening in your body. You know, maybe at a simpler level, you want to feel, okay, what's happening at my hip? What's happening at my shoulder? You know, the major connections. Then as you go down, then you can think, oh, how is my wrist turning? You know, am I turning in one continuous movement, or is there this sort of movement? You know, so you begin to pay attention to the movements, you see. And once you've got that, then the energy will start to flow. And then that's where you learn to control the movements, and then you gain control of the generation of energy and the direction of energy. So start with the form, because the form is what gives you that structure. And then practice until you gain familiarity. And once you have the familiarity with the form, then turn your awareness inside. And to us, that is also a definition of E, you see. To be aware, to be able to know what is in your body, that is also E, or intention. So for us, I always tell them in my workshops, intention has two major parts. One part is where you put your E, your intention, in your body to feel what's going on. And the other part is you put your intention on the other person's body to direct the energy where you want it to go. Yeah. But without the first, you cannot do the second. All right? Yeah.
Yes. So the precision of the movements can be learned from the videos online because, like you said, you put a lot of effort into explaining the details there.
Yeah, that's right.
So all of the forms are taught in a complete manner. So they're not missing anything from doing the online course.
Anything, yeah.
And then if they get to the point where they can remember the forms and they can feel what's happening inside,
Yeah.
if they attend a workshop, I mean, what would they expect from that part? If they come to the workshop knowing the choreography,
Okay.
they could jump straight into the finer points then.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. And to say what I would like them to feel ideally in the workshops, right, is they can feel the movement of the fascia. They begin to recognize that, there's this part in my body that I can move, you know. And once they can realize that, then they can fairly quickly transition to learning how to control those parts, you see. Yeah, right? So what I like, and what the goal that I like to achieve in my workshops, right, once they're familiar with the form, is do the form, or I'll show them how the form helps them to move the internal parts of the body. It could be the fascia, it could be the tendon, you know, it could be, anything. Change of weight, you know, even the change of the weight, the sensing of your center. Yeah, all these are fine points that, you know, you need to learn. The next stage after you know the form.
Yeah. So it's not a case of they're learning more advanced sets or anything like this. They're actually going deeper with what they already know.
Yeah. So, and in theory, we always say, you know, the forms, the art has width and depth. Width means you learn more techniques, right? And techniques could mean forms, could mean drills, could mean actual, you know, combos, right? But learning more of that, yes, it's like, okay, take learning of languages. I like to use that analogy. You can go through the dictionary and have a huge vocabulary, right? But you're not good in your grammar. You're not used to having conversation. Your words would be just jumbled up together, you know? your sentences don't make sense, verbs and nouns get mixed up. But going deeper means learning grammar, learning how to make meaningful sentences. And not only just making meaningful sentences, putting words together, you begin to make poetry. Think of it that way. Then the internal arts is about learning how to make poetry, right? How you can express your energy and your movements and make them into energetic forms, I would call it. Yeah.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Master Yap, for explaining these
Okay.
things about the first 6 sets.
Yeah.
I'm sure many people watching the video have really benefited from that information.
Sure.
And for those people that want to attend a workshop,
Yeah.
I know you're teaching internationally now. You have workshops in Europe, Southeast Asia, Australia, and even America as well. Is that correct?
America, yeah.
So what would be the best way for people to find out about the workshops?
Okay, go to our website, yanshouGong.org. And if you scroll down the page, or you can click on the hamburger menu to courses, and you see all our courses listed there, you see. And you can even search for them by country, by location, country, location, dates, and so on. So find the course that's nearest to you, and that's the best way. And normally the courses are described. They should be described, stage 1 or stage 2. So far, we've been running mostly stage 1 courses, which is just focused on learning the forms. We have done a few stage 2 workshops, right? I think not many, just a handful. But I hope to do many more stage 2 workshops this year. And yeah, look for them there. And hopefully, if we got enough people who have developed the skill sets, I would like to run a stage 3 workshop. And that's where the fun begins. You learn how to harness energy, bring energy to your hands, and so on. Yeah. So yeah, go to our website and check it out. And if you're interested in a course, you just click on it. The details will be there. And you can also register online, and the organizer will contact you as to make arrangement for payments and transport and whatever. All right. I think that the best way is go to the website.
Excellent. Yep, I think
right.
that's very clear. I will also put a link for the website in the description of the video.
Yeah.
So if anyone that's
right.
interested, they can conveniently click on the link.
Yeah.
And yes, we have many more interesting conversations to be had about Yan Shou Gong and the internals in general. So you'll be seeing a whole series of videos that's coming out over the next few months.
Yeah. I think my personal aim, is now that I got a lot of people out there who know the forms, I would like to be able to teach the forms at a more advanced level. I certainly find that a challenge and an interest to be able to teach at a more advanced level, right? And I certainly welcome you guys to come along and let's go on this journey together, Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for sharing your knowledge, Master Yap. Thank you.